Hey guys, Sterling and Zane here from H&S Motorsports. Today we're going to be talking about our lower fuel filter upgrade kit for the 17 Plus 6.7 Ford.
I grabbed one of these trucks in 2017 right when they first came out and knew this was going to be an issue for guys trying to change their fuel filters. I mean, these plastic valves are going to break, and obviously nobody wants to unscrew a bunch of bolts and make a huge mess with this plastic pile of junk. So then we came out, after about a year's worth of testing and R&D, we came out with our lower fuel filter conversion kit, which is basically just a plate to bypass that filter, still utilizing the factory fuel box here, so it keeps all its features and just going to a true spin-on style filter, so it's very easy to change.
We were the first to market with this kit, and we want to go over some of the features that make our kit the best kit on the market.
So what we've done here is kind of made a little cutaway test stand to show you guys kind of how this functions and why we did it the way we did. Initially, when I thought about doing this, I was like, why don't we just get rid of this plastic box, you know, and replace it like some of our competitors have done. There's some reasons why you don't want to do that. One, the ease of installation. These clips up here that are on top of the tank, these fuel line clips, you don't want to deal with these things. They are a pain in the butt, and especially on the long beds. If you're going to replace this thing, in some cases, you have to drop the fuel tank, which you don't want to do. And if you happen to break one of these fuel line clips up here on these fuel lines, they're about $400 to replace. So we just decided to leave the box in there for that feature.
One cool factory feature that our kit retains is the thermostatic bypass valve. Hot fuel coming from the injection system gets returned back to this box. If the fuel is too hot, the bypass valve opens, putting the fuel into this box that goes back up to the engine bay, as opposed to sending that super hot fuel back into your fuel tank, which can be detrimental to the pump and the fuel tank.
Also allows it to recycle it through the factory fuel cooler.
That's true.
Once again, so the fuel gets cooled twice before it comes back.
So let's say I'm the end user. I pull this thing out of the box here. I've got the plate here with these two tubes coming off of it. How does this work? We get a lot of questions about it, again, because our kit is a bit fancier than some of the other kits out there. How does this work?
So what we wanted to do with this was just to bypass the factory fuel filter, basically. So we're just running fuel through the aftermarket filter, the cap filter here. So we left the water fuel sensor in place here in the bottom of the plate. The one tube goes up and actually opens a valve that's in the top of the fuel canister here, and actually allows the fuel to go down the tube and just bypass this and go back into the fuel pump for filtration. But the cool thing about our kit is this little valve that goes, or this little tube that goes up here and opens the valve, allows the water, the heavier water is going to settle in the bottom of this, and the water is still going to go down the tube and settle into the bottom of this plate. So we put a drain on the bottom of here so you still can drain the water that actually will collect in this plate. So what you've got now is actually 2 points to collect water in the fuel system, which is better than one.
So you're going to get our made in the USA patented billet fuel plate here. You're going to get your powder coated bracket, obviously all the hardware that you need. You're going to get your filter head, your cap filter, and your fuel lines.
And of course, all pre-assembled lines. We assemble these things here for you, so the installation is just super easy, guys. So with our kit, you can actually install this probably in 35 minutes. You know, with these other kits, if you're taking this thing off and dealing with these clips or dropping tanks, I mean, you're a 4 to 6 hour install. There's no cutting or splicing or pushing fittings on or hose clamps like some of the other kits out there. These things are really, really easy to install. And if you ever have to return it to stock for any reason, you literally can take this stuff off in like 10 minutes and just slide your factory fuel filter back up in there and you're back to bone stock.
All right, so Zane's got this test bench set up here. Let's see how this thing works.
So if we turned it on here, you can see your fuel circulating through the system here. We have this mocked up. It's not 100% of what it is in the truck, but we've tried to make it that way with this pressure regulator so that there is pressure on the pump as it's simulating like if the pump was in the truck. Your fuel is going to come out here, obviously, through the line. It's going to go through the filter first, get filtered, go back up here and into the pump. And what's cool about these factory pumps is they actually have a little built-in air separator in them. So it gets all the air out of the system without having to go to any kind of aftermarket setup for that.
So with the cutout here, Zane, we can see that this still fills with fuel. What's the benefit of that?
Right, because we didn't want to take the water and fuel sensor out of the system. We wanted it to still function. And as I said before, you're still going to get the heavy water that settles in this chamber right here and goes down the tube and settles in the bottom of the plate, so your water and fuel sensor still works. So we just made this cutaway to show people that there's still fuel actually in the box here, and it's not just completely bypassed except for when the system is running.
So you can still drain water from the bottom of this.
Correct.
And then you have this as well, kind of
And
as a
this.
secondary water separator.
So the cap filter, for anybody wondering also, 10 micron filter, same as the factory filter, better quality filter though. And obviously all you got to do is unscrew this and screw a new one on. No mess, it's super easy. Took your fuel filter changes from an hour to 5 minutes.
You can find these kits at your favorite diesel parts retailer or on our website at hs-motorsports.com.